Casting stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in on a chilly but at least dry Monday morning. My goodness, I was looking out the window seeing if Noah was hanging around. Apparently the rain stopped, then we'll get a couple of days. Then sunshine's going to get colder, but at least we're going to see the sun. It was a nice weekend for Hoop City. Tigers get maybe their best early season win. It's either that or the Quinones, Boogie, Precious, Wiseman freshman year. They got off to that, I think, 8-1, 9-1 start, something like that, and they beat Tennessee at Tennessee. That was a great early season win. This one, though, super, because I don't believe that Tennessee was ranked as high as number 11 like Auburn was. Of course, that game was in Knoxville. This game was on a neutral, but it was clearly more Auburn, a lot more Auburn than it was Memphis. It was almost like a road game. And that win over a team that had a 19 net has to be helpful in the long run. Tigers have now won 6 in a row. The Grizzlies are looking to win their 6th in a row. They will play hosting Atlanta tonight at FedEx Forum, and they could get number 6. They are actually big favorites in that game to do so. 2 big stories today, both involving coaches. Both are not good news. The first one is one that occurred yesterday, and that is Mike Leach had some sort of health issue that occurred in his house. Serious enough that they took him by ambulance from Starkville all the way to Jackson, which is a great medical center, but a long way away by ambulance. So if it was by helicopter, obviously it would have been worse. But this was by ambulance. It is very concerning. No real information has been given. I heard one report that it was heart-related. I hope it's that rather than a stroke. I'm speculating on all of that. I really do not know. And when the institution says we're not giving out any more information, but but please send prayers to Mike and Sharon, his wife, and their family, it is certainly very, very concerning. They have named Zach Arnett, their defensive coordinator, as the interim coach, at least for the moment, as they prepare to play Illinois on January the 2nd in the ReliaQuest Bowl. The next one that involves a coach is awful. It's a terrible story. It comes from Austin, Texas, where their head basketball coach, Chris Beard, was arrested around midnight last night, booked at 4 o'clock in the morning for what the police report says is third-degree felony assault, and that the coach allegedly, by the police report, impeded the breath circulation of a family member. It's interesting how it's worded. Impeded breath circulation, which is strangulation. So, allegedly, the coach strangled a family member. Whoa. Chris Beard's got a lot of answers to give. Nothing has occurred at this point pertaining to that. So, J-Mo, a very busy weekend. In our NFL picks, you were brilliant, 3-1. How many of mine? I'm 1-3. How many of mine won but not covered? I know at least one, which would have
the Bills, and I can't remember the other one, but definitely the Bills was one that won and not covered. Here, I can pull it up right now for you.
Yeah, well.
Oh, the
Vikings?
Just the Bills, because
the Lions won that straight up.
Because the Lions won that game, and then you took
that
the
had
Titans.
to be your. Did you take that?
I took the Lions and I took the Jags, and both of those won, and you went the other way on both.
Jags are a story, aren't they?
And they have to play the Titans again in Jacksonville. I think they win that game too.
If they do win that game, then they're tied and they would get tiebreaker, right?
That's exactly right. It's not that the Titans. I mean, the Jags are a lot better than people expected them to be, and they're maybe a year away from really contending to be good in that division.
Trevor Lawrence is a good pick.
And they're playing good defense. They're running the ball well. They have a stable of backs. I like the Jaguars. They're competitive.
But that's not the story today.
It's not.
When we're talking about quarterbacks, we're talking about Brock Purdy, and I'm going to give him medals here in just a minute. That Tigers and Auburn game was really quite a bit of fun. There were not nearly as many fans from Memphis as Auburn, but there was a pretty good contingent, I will tell you. And in the team hotel, which is the Omni, which, by the way, they have this set up so perfect for that Omni hotel. Well, there's a Westin down there. There's several that are around the area, which includes Mercedes-Benz. State Farm is literally next door to when I left the building. I had to go all the way around the building and down an elevator to get to the press entrance. It's set up very nice, but when I left, I literally walked out, and it was a gap wedge, less than 100 yards from the arena to our hotel door. But they have it set up down there. I'm sure many of you have done this for former SEC games, but you're down there with State Farm Arena, which is where the Hawks play, and I believe they've had SEC tournaments there. They have the Mercedes-Benz football stadium, which looks like a spaceship. And I really wonder this. 'Cause it is a marvel how cool looking I think it is. But I've often wondered, when the architect's rendering of that was first presented, like how many people said, holy cow. I mean, because it's so different and so wild looking, so space futuristic, that I'm sure there were some people that were going, what? You're not going to do this?
Even the way the roof opens and closes.
Like a flower.
Yeah, that's right. It's crazy.
It is nuts. It is beautiful looking. And it's cool. Like I noticed, everywhere you're walking down there, if there is a view of the stadium, you see the Mercedes symbol. I mean, they got all bases covered. Also down there, it's the Hall of Fame is right next door. It's actually it seems like it's a part of the Omni Hotel where we stayed. And then you have the aquarium, and someone told me that a guy, apparently a multi-billionaire, donated somewhere between 400 and 500 million to build this aquarium, which they say is the best aquarium in the world.
It's incredible.
I need to go there because I think the one in Chattanooga is cool. Have you ever been to that one?
I haven't.
You go up this escalator as you're going. It's the beginning. It's very dramatic and very cool. So, and everybody who's been to both tells me that one in Chattanooga cannot stack up to the one in Atlanta. And I'm going, wow, I got to see this. So, anyway.
And you got Coke World right next to the aquarium, too.
Coke World is this. You can knock out all three.
That's right.
If you go down there and make a day of it, and I don't know how far the varsity is, but I try to get a little varsity burger or dog in there in between. That's the little diner that's been by Georgia Tech for years. So, anyway, it was very cool and a lot of fun. And in that bar, in the hotel afterwards, there were a lot of people feeling really good. I know we're going to give medals here in just a second. I just love your take. Did you I'm sure watched the Auburn-Memphis basketball game in your eyes. I mean, here's Memphis again. Not scoring in about the last 5 minutes of field goal. 19 turnovers, yet they still win the game. They win it going away, and Kendrick Davis came out of his slump at the right time because the Tigers don't win that game unless he goes crazy, which he did.
Well, first of all, in the first half, he was getting whatever he wanted. I mean, and their lead to go into halftime, which is 6-point lead going into halftime, clearly freaked Bruce Pearl out because he comes out and denied presses for the last 20 minutes of the game, and Memphis just starts getting runouts almost at will. And like you said, not scoring down the stretch hurt Memphis. It's a great win, and you got to feel good about Kendrick Davis getting whatever he wants in that game every time he wanted to score. But I felt like Auburn really played against themselves, and I was very disappointed in Auburn's. I don't think Auburn's as good as 11 in the country or even as good as people think they are.
Maybe not. Maybe
it's still
not,
a great – you got to look at Memphis and happy with what they did, but I was really disappointed with what Auburn did in the second half of that game.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, because everybody seems to forget that you got to give credit when other teams look bad. And I could see how after this game people will go, well, Auburn's not that good. They couldn't do anything. They shot 38%. They averaged 8 blocks a game. They got 2 against Memphis. Here's the thing. Memphis forces you into bad shots. Their defense is that good. Look, Arkansas Little Rock took like 24 threes. You know why? Because they couldn't get a good shot inside. Auburn took a lot of threes in this game. That's part of the reason why they shot so poorly, because they're not a good three-point shooting team. But guess what? Broome, Cardwell, all those guys inside, Traore, the kid from France, they couldn't get their shots. Memphis' defense is that good.
What did you think about Auburn's defense? I was really disappointed in their defense.
Here's what I really, I know Bruce Pearl's a heck of a coach. He is. There's just no question about it. What he's done with personnel over the years, including Dane Bradshaw, who did that game on TV, the Memphis kid who went to White Station High School and went to Woodland Presbyterian Day School with my kids, okay? He was a big brother to one of them. I know the guy. What he was able to get from Dane Bradshaw, he was like a point forward. It was remarkable what he did. But I don't understand how you could let Kendrick Davis shoot like he did. First off, if you look at what Ole Miss has done and what other schools will do, they doubled him. Every time he had the ball, they brought 2. Don't let him kill you. And he did not double him. That was fortunate for Memphis.
Didn't double him in the first half, got whatever he wanted, and his adjustment to go into the second half was press and denying for 20 minutes. Like Memphis doesn't. Memphis presses themselves all the time. They can break a press. Had 2-on-1, 1-on-0. I was just like you said. I was disappointed in what Bruce did, but like you said, you got to be happy in Kendrick Davis' performance, and you got to credit Memphis for the defense they played against their shots.
It's great, and you're going to get that every time. So they play Alabama. We're going to have Jason Munz on the show here at the final segment at about 10:45, and so the Tigers are playing an Alabama team that should be in the top 5 when the poll comes out. Before Memphis plays.
Absolutely.
Okay.
With a big win.
They'll be a top 5. They win at Houston. And Alabama has a good resume because here's who they've beaten. They went to Michigan State and beat Michigan State when Michigan State was ranked. They beat North Carolina when North Carolina was ranked. Well, now you got to kind of wonder how good is really North Carolina, but that's on the resume, and it was when they were the preseason number 1 team in the country. Then they go to number 1, Houston, and they beat Houston on their floor.
Outscoring them 25-14 the last 10 minutes of the game.
And their best player, Miller, didn't have a great game. So, wow.
Only scored from the free throw line.
By Ken Pom, by the way, Memphis is a 7-point underdog. I think it's like 77-70.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Here's why I think Memphis has a chance. First off, Memphis is playing with house money. There's no pressure. All they had to do for their resume was to win one of these 2 road games against the SEC West. They got Auburn, 19 in the net, 11th ranked in the country when they beat them. Okay? They got that W. So this means no pressure on Memphis. They're 7-point underdogs. It'll be interesting to see where Vegas puts it, but that's what they are against Alabama. So they'll play loose, I think. Alabama? Okay, 2 things. They just beat Houston at Houston. It's natural to have a letdown. And do you know, J-Mo, who Alabama plays after they play Memphis?
Is that the Gonzaga game?
That is the Gonzaga game. Couldn't it be a possibility that you would go, we just beat Houston at Houston, another number 1. Oh, we got Gonzaga after this. Isn't it just possible there's a letdown and you look past the Tigers because Gonzaga at this point is the much higher ranked team?
I actually thought the same thing when I watched that game and saw Alabama win. You mentioned Miller, a freshman player. They got another guy that starts also a freshman. So you got a young team coming off a huge road win against number 1. Like you said, Gonzaga coming up next. I think Alabama winning, this is crazy to say, I think Alabama winning at Houston was actually the best case scenario for Memphis.
I'm 100% with you. on that one. I think we have nailed that. I think they got a chance. And again, there's no pressure on Memphis. They took care of what they had to do in this stretch. But how about Alabama and what they took on here? They took on a stretch of at Houston, Memphis, and Gonzaga in 3 in a row.
And then North Carolina, they just played a couple last week or something like that.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I think. I think at that point, North Carolina still was very highly ranked.
That might have been the Thanksgiving tournament, actually.
Yeah, I think
a couple
it was.
weeks ago.
In fact, they may have been number one. They may have already beat 2 number ones this year.
Something else, man.
That is really something. But I think that there is a chance. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and a reminder to you, the Christmas sale is absolutely going on. It is outstanding, where you'll get those great prices, those Christmas sale prices from Family Leisure on hot tubs, on massage chairs, on saunas, on patio furniture. How about games like pool table, state-of-the-art, or shuffleboard, or air hockey, any of those things? It's Christmas time, and you got to take advantage at I-40 and Whidden Road at Family Leisure. And you know our title sponsor, it's Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where if you go down there, see Chris True and all the gang, say hello to Vinny, say hello to Rick Fink. How about David Richardson, John Burnside? Just say hello to them. They know everybody. They've been there forever. They're such a good team together. And right now offering this new financial incentive where if you go and get a new Tucson or Santa Fe or Veloster or Elantra, you get a new Hyundai. I think the best products out there. You get one of those. Don't worry about paying for 90 days. 3 months. A deferred payment special going on right now at the corner of Craft Road, the first exit in Mississippi off Highway 78, Homer Skelton Hyundai. All right, let's get down to it. We love giving out medals, and we will do so right now. I'm going to give my first bronze. I got 2 bronze, 2 silver, and a gold. The gold stands out. First bronze to Joel Embiid. 53 points, 12 rebounds against Charlotte. But here's the thing that is really impressive. Only 22 times in the history of the NBA has anybody ever scored 50 points in under 35 minutes of playing time. Joel Embiid did it again last night. Do you realize he's done that 3 times in his career? 50-plus in less than 35 minutes played. What a story. He gets my first bronze medal. Second bronze medal, did you pick this? The Detroit Lions to beat Minnesota? I don't, that was such a sucker bet. I don't know how in the world the Detroit Lions are doing what they're doing. Everybody's for them because of that Hard Knocks series where you got to get to know the coaches and the players, and so you start pulling for them. It's human nature that way. It's the old Rune Arledge philosophy of up close and personal, because if you get to really know somebody and they have this personal, you feel like you have a personal thing with them, you're going to pull for them, and you're more interested in them. That's why all the player bios and stuff became part of broadcasts. Brilliant of Rune Arledge, brilliant of HBO to do this thing with the Lions. Now they've won 2 in a row and 4 of 5. They're actually in the playoff picture. It's an incredible turnaround. They knock off Minnesota, surprising everybody except for JMO. 34-23 yesterday. Now only 1 game out of the playoffs. 2 silver medals. My first goes to the Tigers defense against Auburn. We talked about it. They held a Auburn Tigers team to 38% shooting. And, of course, Kendrick Davis was exactly what you hoped he would be in a big game. He came through with 27 points, 9 rebounds. A little guy getting 9 rebounds and 6 assists and 2 steals. Part of those rebounds, though, were because Auburn was forced by Memphis's great defense to shoot threes, and long rebounds go to quick guards. And there's nobody quicker than Kendrick Davis. And so the Tigers are 82-73 winners. That is a resume stuffer for the Tigers come March. And then my other silver goes to Brock Purdy. What a story. Mr. Irrelevant. 2 years ago, the last player taken in the NFL draft, despite a career at Iowa State that produced 12,000 passing yards and I think a couple of thousand rushing yards. I mean, the guy's close to 15,000 total yards. And yet, he's a little small. And some people don't think he's got a great arm. So he's an afterthought, and he's taken last pick in the draft, and he's taken by the Niners. And obviously the Niners thought enough of him to keep him around despite Trey Lance, despite Jimmy G. They kept him for insurance, which was pretty smart. What does he do yesterday? He's incredible. 16 of 21. 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. More importantly, no interceptions. He does what San Francisco quarterbacks do. They manage the game, and they kill Tom Brady and Tampa Bay 35-7.
Killed him.
Brady looked 45. He was off with his throwing. I think he injured a finger. He didn't say anything, but
It
you
looked
could
like
see
he
him
broke
wincing.
it.
It looked terrible. And that's when he threw 2 picks right after he got hit like that. But he throws 2 interceptions, and this kid makes his first start and beats the greatest of all time. What a story that is. It would normally get a gold, but my only gold has to go to the great World Cup soccer semifinalist, Morocco. They become the first African country to ever make the World Cup semis. Their goalie is incredible. They have not allowed a regular goal so far in the World Cup. What a story, and now they're in the semis.
It's been incredible. There was really good quarterfinals and games.
Great stuff.
Unbelievable. My bronze medal, I know you don't like when I give it to a loser, but I got to today. My bronze medal goes to Mike White. 27 completions yesterday in the snow, more than Josh Allen. 269 yards, was knocked out twice in the game yesterday. Same spot. Tough guy. Lost his job last year when he got hurt. Right after the Bills game last year, he was starting, where Robert Saleh said, this guy might be our quarterback, and everyone freaked out because we were still on Zach Wilson back then. Also, so Mike, first of all, super tough, unbelievable job. Robert Saleh also said after the game that he thinks they might have to see the Bills again, which means Bills are number 1 in the AFC. They're going to get a bye, which means Robert Saleh is not only saying the Jets are going to the playoffs, they're winning a playoff game and playing the Bills again. So that was a great quote from him. My silver goes to Brock Purdy, like you said. I basically just repeating what you said. 5 incompletions yesterday, 3 total touchdowns. Unbelievable job from him. The Niners in 13 games, also their defense. In 13 games, they have not allowed a 60-yard rusher in any game so far this season. That's unbelievable defense. And my gold medal goes to the Panthers and Steve Wilkes and Sam Darnold. 2-0 since coming back. That's incredible. Going to Seattle and winning that game. And Steve Wilkes said after the game that he thinks that the ownership and the front office is trying to tank the season and that the players and coaches aren't going to allow that to happen. Calling out and saying it into a microphone after the game.
Steve Wilkes, I love the guy, and he's really trumpeting that. But he should have been quiet because he could be hired to be the guy on a full-time basis.
That's another thing, too, is that Teppers, when he made him the interim guy, said that he's going to have to do something extraordinary in order to even be considered to be the head coach of that team.
He's not getting that job now, but he may get another one after this.
4-4.
That is for sure. My rust, the first one goes to Chris Beard if these allegations are true. And the second one is to the reports that are coming out. Now, remember how we talked about Giovanni Reyna, why he wasn't being played by Greg Berhalter, the World Cup United States men's team coach? Turns out he wasn't in good shape, and he wasn't giving out maximum efforts, and he really PO'd the team, and he was forced to apologize to the team. He's only 19, I believe, so he's got a lot of growing up to do, apparently. We never knew this. Everybody, because we've seen the guy play when he's in shape, but he wasn't giving it his all, and I can't quite understand that, but he gets a rust from me.
Young team, too, so that's good they stay together. My rust goes to a guy you're familiar with, Lovie Smith. This guy, please. Benches Davis Mills to put out Kyle Allen for a week, even though the quarterback is not the problem on that team. Puts Davis Mills back out there, and after 2 drives, benches him again and puts Jeff Driscoll in the game. I mean, I was on Lovie's side, but get a clue, man. I mean, you're playing quarterback roulette with a terrible team. Nothing you can do about that. Come on, man.
And those are our medals. They're brought to you by the good folks at Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, here to help you beat the price increase because government regulations are forcing new regulations that will basically make these new systems more expensive. All you got to do is call Conway now to beat them. Beat the prices going up. Call them and they'll throw in on a new HVAC system with the air conditioning system. You buy that and you get a furnace free and a Nest thermostat for free. So get it now before the prices go up and get a free furnace, get a free thermostat, all from Conway by calling 384-3511. Conway, always taking care of you. To Atlanta we go in a minute. John Thompson, our coach, will join us on college football. We do that in just 1 second.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hey Memphis, I'm Regina Moore, owner of Chef Flavors. Born and raised in the 901, I have so much pride for my city. So, my husband and I created a product Memphis can be proud of. Our award-winning spinach artichoke dip is on Walmart shelves now, and we need your help clearing the main. Let's show Walmart how Memphis come together for their own. Unlock the inner chef in you with Chef Flavors.
Greg is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
I'm Greg. I'm 68 years old. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, majored in business administration. I do motivational speaking in addition to substitute teaching. Part of the reason for my motivational speaking is I kind of feel like I have a calling or giving back to the younger generation. You know, the golden rule is do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. My wife, Wanda, is a senior flight attendant. She's been flying for over 30 years. I think most adults will start realizing that they don't recall things as quickly as they used to, or they don't remember things as vividly as they once did. I've been taking Prevagen for about 3 years now. People say to me periodically, man, you got a memory like an elephant. It's really, really helped me tremendously.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy.